Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. We got a lot of crazy stuff in the news. For example, when I say crazy, I mean there's a ton of stuff. And for us to get to it, I'm going to have to speed it up here. This show has just flown by. For example, this is a story. This one really got... So there's a Virginia governor's race, replacing McAuliffe, who's a waste of space. And the Republican has surged in the race. So the Democrats got desperate. And here's the ad that they ran. It's not the ad. It's actually Tucker Carlson discussing the ad with a woman on his program. And this I could cover for so long because this is typical of what the left does. They invoke racism in the South, Virginia. And this particular commercial, they play it, it's playing as Tucker's explaining to her what's going on. But their excuse for this is truly unforgivable. This is the type of thing that tells you why the left are going to have so much trouble winning elections going forward, and how you cannot heal this nation with people like them. So here's Tucker discussing it.
Defending an ad that has a racist driving a truck with an Ed Gillespie sticker on it trying to murder children, and you're defending it by saying Ed Gillespie is running an ad that makes people fearful? I mean, I don't think there's ever been an ad like the one we just watched. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I think we're living in an era we've never lived in before. I think what's unique about the last year is that a lot of people are coming forward with statements that used to just be dog whistles are now overt racist
But
statements.
what is that? If that's not
based on an actual event that happened.
What did Ed Gillespie have to do with that event?
Well, I don't know what he had to do with the event necessarily.
But why are you tying him to it?
Because he's creating a racist environment where people are feeling emboldened. He's never disavowed President Trump saying, in the heels of the Charlotte riots, that there are good people on both sides.
Well, I haven't disavowed it either.
That.
Does that make me? It's not mine to disavow. I didn't say it.
It's not yours to disavow, but it is Ed Gillespie's when he's running for governor of Virginia.
Disavow it? I mean, what? So refusing to disavow, whatever that means, something that somebody else said now makes you morally equivalent to what you say the first person is? Like, this is insane.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Tucker's 100% right. This is wrong on so many levels that it really makes me mad. And it should make anybody that's depicted in this commercial. What it is it's a guy in a truck, in a vehicle. I don't know if it's a truck. And he's got an Ed Gillespie sticker on his back. And he's running down minority people. He's running down minority kids. So you see a black kid take off running and then stop and like, whoa. And then the next thing you see a little Mexican kid and he runs. And what's funny is she says, well, we're living in a different time, a time of overt racism. Well, the overt racism is from the left. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, a former guy who worked for Reagan came out and said that racism exists on the Republican side of the aisle. Really, it pissed me off. I'm so sick of this. I mean, this is why I fight so hard, to be honest with you. Because I so want, when the world turns and the left are seen as the racists, I'm going to make a promise to you. I will stop what I'm doing. I will stop. That's how much I want it to stop. I'll stop. When finally people go, nope. I'm talking about when leftists start going, nah, for years, I thought the other side were racist. It was really our side. That's why I switched. When that happens, I'm done. I will leave. I'll go gainful employment. I mean, I think this is gainful, but I'll go figure out something else to do. I'll write more books. Maybe I'll become a professor. But anyway, this overt racism she talks about. And then what's funny is she says, and this is what's so condemning. She doesn't even realize how condemning this statement is. She says, this was based on an actual event. And see, this is where I differ with, and I love Tucker's a great guy. He's not only a great guy for Fox, he's a good person. But this is where I get upset with Tucker and Hannity and some of these guys. Tucker's comment should have been, really? So when this event occurred, did Ed Gillespie's bumper sticker, was it on somebody's car? I'm just curious. See, she's trying to take an event tied to Ed Gillespie. Tucker does a great job of saying, well, what does that have to do with him? He didn't do it. Well, he didn't condemn it. Okay, well, and Tucker rightfully said it's not his job to condemn it. Did Barack Obama come out with every racist statement that's made by black people? Is it necessary for Barack Obama to come out and go, I condemn that statement? How about enough with his own actions to say, look, I don't make racist statements. I think it's silly that people believe in racism. But I'll tell you this, I'm not going to apologize because somebody else says something. In fact, that's their First Amendment right. They can say whatever they want. Doesn't make it mean that I condone it. But I don't feel that way. That's enough. But they wanted guilt by association. Ed Gillespie had nothing to do with that event. He wasn't running for governor during that event. Why is his bumper sticker on the vehicle? That was the golden question. Now look, it's easy to backseat drive from here. I've been in that position. You're on TV. You got a certain amount of time, a limited amount of time. The thing I don't like about being a guest is they're directing the flow and you're sitting there going, I only got 45 seconds. That's it. Look at my interviews. They don't last very long. The segment may be 5 minutes, but between the host, wanting to get their pound of flesh, sometimes running a video, which is what Tucker ran in this particular piece, and then they start with one, then come to you, then go to the other, then come back to you. You're lucky if you get a minute and a half to speak. Lucky. So I get it. But when you're the host and she says something like that, well, that actually happened. You got to be quick on your feet to say, well, you know what? That incident may have happened, but something tells me that Ed Gillespie's bumper sticker wasn't on the car. Am I right or am I wrong? That's what. Now, look, I'm hosting Fox and Friends, co-hosting on the 4th and the 5th. So I'll get my opportunity to see what I'm able to accomplish on the show. But I got to tell you, that interview is infuriating. Because Ed Gillespie, a Republican, is winning, the Democrats pull out the race card. Here's the problem. Here's the good news, bad news. The bad news is they did it. The bad news is Democrats believe they can use blacks and Hispanics and trot us out for some racial incident every time they're getting their butts kicked on policy issues. See, Ed Gillespie's going to win. He's going to win because he's probably the right candidate for the job. I don't know what his stance is on different things, but here's what I do know. I know what the left stands for, and they're giving us an example by what they're doing currently. This whole thing, by trotting out racism and trying to blame Gillespie. I don't know Gillespie from Adam. Wouldn't know him if he walked up and petted my dog. But what I will tell you is, I can guarantee you he's not responsible for any racism that's happening in that area, and he's probably a pretty good guy. He's probably a guy that just wants to do the best for Virginia, and as much as he may be partisan in the sense of the Republicans, what Republicans want is what's best for everybody. That's a fact. I think liberals are the most boneheaded people on the planet. I do. And there are many times I think to myself, we'd be better off without them. But we have them. So you know what? Policies should help them as well. Because my thought process is, if they get enough help, they might just go, this isn't too bad. These guys aren't nearly the ogres that I've proclaimed them to be. But they don't do that. They don't learn from their mistakes. Right now, well, I say that, and then Bryan Cranston came out and he says, I say to anybody who wishes that Donald Trump fails, F you. Now, Bryan Cranston, if you don't know him, you're asleep at the wheel. Breaking Bad. He's been Malcolm in the Middle. He's the hapless father in a lot of films. Was a dyed-in-the-wool, I hate Trump, I'm voting for Hillary guy. In fact, he said if Trump is elected, he was leaving the country. He was one of those. And suddenly, he's done a mea culpa. Now, the reason I bring this up, and I know I'm shifting gears a little bit here, because we were talking about this racist commercial that got run. But the reason why I'm telling you this is yet another Hollywood person who was dyed in the wool for Hillary. And suddenly, we get a switch. The Democrats owned the Virginia. They stacked the deck with Terry McAuliffe's people, and should have an easy go of it and be in getting another Democrat elected to the Virginia governorship. They're going to lose it. Hollywood, an anti-Trump, I'm talking about I hate Trump, I love Hillary, support Hillary, I'll leave the country if Trump is elected, is now telling other people, F you if you want to see Donald Trump fail. And he goes on to explain why. Let me tell you what's happening, people. These are signs that you got to pay attention to. These are the little things that come up that mean something. Bryan Cranston didn't come to this like wake up in the middle of the night and go, you know what? Now I'm going to suddenly support Donald Trump. Something has happened to change a guy who could not stand Donald Trump to telling people, F you if you try to go against it.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.